Awakened Ezizh is an intelligence-based mage class hero from the Hypergean faction who specializes in controlling his enemies, and in today's video we're going to take a look at his skills and abilities, his teams and uses, and whether or not it's worth investing in this hero, so let's get into it. His ultimate ability is Nightmare's Descent. For this one he's going to produce a shockwave dealing damage to all enemies and rendering them unable to use their ultimate abilities for 2 seconds. It's also going to change the battlefield into a hellish nightmare for 10 seconds. Now, during this 10 seconds, Ezizh can no longer generate energy, and he will do an additional shockwave every 4 seconds. On top of that, he will produce an additional shockwave each time an ally uses their ultimate ability while the battlefield is still transformed, and this effect can be triggered up to 2 times. Next up is Depths of Darkness. For this one, at the start of battle, he's going to cause the enemy mirroring his own position to fall into a nightmare state. Now they're going to remain in this state until they receive damage equal to 40% of their max health or until 10 seconds have passed. Then we have Mind Flay. For this one, he's going to use an Abyssal Tentacle to deal AoE damage to enemies and also drain their sanity, forcing them into a state of insanity for 8 seconds. Now, enemies in the state of insanity will lose 12 tenacity points and all allied heroes will gain 6 tenacity points. For the Nightmare Arc ability, Ezizh is going to focus his Nightmare energy and unleash it on an enemy, dealing damage and also stunning them for 1 second. If the enemy is successfully stunned, it will then bounce onto another enemy and will continue to do so until it has been resisted or until it has bounced a maximum of 6 times. Now, if the battlefield has been transformed from his ultimate ability, this will always guarantee to bounce the 6 times. His signature item will provide him with the skill ups for his Depths of Darkness ability. At base, when he suffers from a control effect, the damage he receives for the following 6 seconds will be reduced by 10%. At level 10, that gets increased to a 16% damage reduction. And at level 20, after resisting a control effect due to tenacity or immunity, the same effects from his level 10 will be applied, however at a 50% reduced duration. His furniture provides the skill ups for his Mind Flay ability. At level 3, enemies that are currently affected by insanity will be additionally terrified for 2.5 seconds once insanity gets reapplied. Then at level 9, when an enemy is in a state of insanity and Ezizh deals damage to them, his following damage will be increased, stacking up to 24%. And finally, for his engravings, they're going to provide the skill ups for his Nightmare Arc ability. At level 30, enemy targets are going to lose 20 energy points when they get stunned by this ability. Then at level 60, each time Nightmare energy is transferred to a target in a state of insanity, the damage caused by the following transfer will be increased and will also cause the enemy targets to enter a state of insanity. And due to being an awakened hero, he does get the awakening passive Dream Veil. For this one, every 10 seconds of the battle, he's going to enter a dream state that allows him to become immune to all damage and control effects for 8 seconds. Now, while in this dream state, he can normally cast his skills and he will also gain an increase to his haste and damage. Now, each time he enters the dream state, the time taken to enter the next dream state will be increased. However, whenever an ally resists a control effect due to their tenacity, the time required to re-enter that dream state will be reduced. Due to being an awakened hero, it's harder to get copies of Awakened Ezizh. However, the fantastic thing about him is even if you only have 1 legendary copy, he could still be valuable in a wide range of teams to lock out a specific enemy at the start of battle using his Depths of Darkness ability. And for this reason, he can be slotted into just about any team you need that has an enemy which could be threatening to you if not controlled at the start of battle. So for this video, we're going to take a look at the team of Lawson, Lucretia, Halis, Awakened Ezizh, and Leica. Now, this team's goal is to allow Lucretia to defeat the entire enemy team, and losing a couple of our units like Lawson and Leica just benefit Lucretia. Now, Lawson is here to link damage between enemies, allowing us to deal more burst damage. Halis is here to provide some protection for Lucretia to allow her to survive against the enemies. Lucretia herself is our main damage dealer, being capable of dealing massive amounts of damage, especially when on the enemy side of the battlefield when paired with the dual divinity artifact. Leica is here to speed everything up, get us into the battle faster, and start us generating our energy at the start of the battle. Now we've put Awakened Ezizh into this team for two main reasons. The first one is that he is able to lock out the enemy Gwyneth at the start of the battle, meaning she won't destroy our entire back row with one lightning arrow. Then as we move past that, as the battle continues, he's also able to continuously control through terrifies and stuns the enemy team to help Halis keep Lucretia alive until we can defeat the rest of the enemies. As for artifacts on Awakened Ezizh, Warden of the Arcane is great, allowing him to get some extra haste and also deal some additional damage. The Windbinder is also a fantastic option if you really want to get him to do a fast ultimate. Besides that, you can always get away with something like Jura's Call if there's no one else on your team using it. So with all that out of the way, how far do we want to invest into Awakened Ezizh? As stated earlier, just a legendary copy is great. You're not going to need to add any more resources into him, and you can still get some use out of that. However, if you do decide to invest all the way to Ascended 1-star and unlock the ability to give him signature item, furniture, and engravings, then it's highly recommended to take all of them to max. It's such a hard investment to get on these characters that if you do max one out, you're going to get some great effect out of them. For his signature item, being able to have additional CC on enemies when they control him is a great counter, especially when it's a 6-second CC. Moving on from that, as we look at the furniture, the additional damage provided is really nice. If you only have a legendary copy, you're really not concerned with his damage, but his damage dealing capacity is actually quite decent once you do fully invest into him. And then finally, when we look at his engravings, level 30 is going to be great because enemies are going to lose extra energy. And then at level 60, dealing some extra damage is always going to be helpful. But on top of that, the extra insanity is also going to benefit you greatly. So that is going to be it for Awakened Ezizh, the first Hypergene Awakened hero who is very valuable even only at one copy and only gets better with investment. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.